Good evening, everyone. It's a later start today. It's 9:30 in the UK, 15th of Feb, 2024. My name is Ashake, I'm a Ghostbuster, and we are back with another episode of the XBL Party Podcast. Now, Redders is not here yet. He may be here, but we think he's had to rush back down to CX to rebuy his Xbox. He's banging on the gates. He's like, please let me trade in this PS5 again. But I'm sure once he gets that sorted out, he'll be back. Back to join us maybe before the show ends. This is just a shorter show. We've got the one topic. We're going to have a bit of fun. I am joined, obviously, by a whole host of people. Got some, like, forgotten faces here. We've got, obviously, we've got regulars. We've got Fabio. We've got BMG, BaldManGamer. We have got Luke Steele. And we have the man, the myth, the legend. He's now a Sony pony, and he must be really sad after this week's news. It's the Jinner. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good.
I mean, I'm just amazed that after such a long time, we are having Jinner here on the podcast.
Oh my God. It's good to be back, guys. Xbox isn't dead. Oh my God.
I'm in a better place than Redders. That's the important thing.
Yeah. He's literally, do you know what, right? After last week, he tossed one more time over his 1,000 gamer scores. Then he threw his Xbox to the curb. He's like, I'm done with you, like a jilted ex-wife. And now we've seen the Alamo payment.
Yeah, there we go. Shit.
What is going on, everybody?
Nobody likes you. Just go away.
It's true.
Did you manage to get your Xbox back, Redders?
I did. What a shit show.
did.
Honestly, what a fucking shit show.
Shit.
Sorry, Ash, carry on.
I can't. I was just on about pleasuring yourself over your achievement list.
I was
one last time.
I was. But yeah, what is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the XBL Party Podcast.
Yes,
He's rusty.
I am Redders, and welcome. I've been drinking.
Were you that sad to the news that you started drinking?
Are we doing the intro again? Is this what's happening?
Oh my God.
We are.
Xbox is getting rid of all its games.
Anyway,
I need to drink 20 pints. Oh my
so,
God.
without further ado, let's get into
my
it.
achievements.
Fuck it. What is everyone's thoughts and opinions on this business event? Crack on.
Sarah Bond was back on the screen. I mean, not all bad, was it?
She's looking beautiful. We even saw a bit of matte beauty bulge as well. I don't know if anyone noticed that. It could have just been me, but
I noticed.
I could see that third leg creeping down there. It's
Jesus.
a bit hot under the collar there. With that.
The moment he said we're here to compete, you could see it rising.
Yeah,
he loves a bit of it, doesn't he?
That's why he was sat so awkwardly in his chair with his legs.
Because he was on a tripod.
Yeah, folded it under. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Before we get into stuff, though, guys, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're as aroused as Matt Booty was. We are we're less than 5 away from 1,500 now. Hashtag Booty Bulge is what we need to get going. Share this out on social media. Share it out on Twitter. Share it with all your friends and
share it with your nan.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Share it with all those people that threw their Xboxes out last week, smashed them to the ground, cried their tears into the air ducts and stuff like that. And now they're probably all sat there like, God damn it.
I got to be honest, I'm quite disappointed. I was expecting a full-blown, we're going for it. We're opening the floodgates. This is the future. PlayStation are going to follow suit. Everything's going to be everywhere. I'm going to sell all my stuff. I'm going to get a PC. I'm going to have my PS Plus and my Game Pass on my PC. And I'm living the dream. And do you know what happened? I got Phil Spencer going, we're going to start with 4. And in 10 years, everything's going to be there. But for the next 10 years, we're going to gradually build up. And I was like, Phil, come on. Just pull it off. Just go for it.
I thought he was
was
gonna pack his bags and be like, "Sarah's in charge now. I'm off. Fuck you. I'm
He
playing
was happy.
Diablo. Sick of your shit.
I just
Did
want to
not
point
look
out that
happy.
like she's the one in charge, so good luck there.
I'm sick of these baby back bitches on Twitter. You fucked me off all week. I just wanted to play some Brotato and
I'll tell you
Diablo,
what, it
and
feels
instead I've had
like-
to come and do this.
It feels like the most anticlimactic fucking thing in Xbox history. It's like, oh, are we not? Oh, okay, fair enough. It's just 4 games. It's fine. We'll get over it.
I'm not going to announce the 4 games though. It's
Yeah.
That was
soon.
bad.
Yeah,
That was
weird.
horrible.
That was really weird.
Like that was
Yeah.
really coward out of him.
Pentiment. Grounded.
It's because, and I'll tell you why he's not announced them, because there's supposed to be a
Direct?
Nintendo Direct, and there's probably a contract that says they get to announce.
Yeah, there's a couple there.
What a fucking letdown. I'll tell you what, I went into this like, oh my god, it's ending. And it's like, oh, fair enough.
You were part of the baby back bitches though.
I was.
Jade,
I
so-
was. I'll tell you what, I'll be the first to own it. I was the first to go, ah! But no, it's like fucking. Yeah. And it's like,
Yeah, but
oh, fair enough.
It's 4 for now. It's
Yeah.
4 games. Everyone melted down over 4 games, thinking it was all multi-platform, everything, which wouldn't have bothered me at all because I've got both
No.
consoles. I don't really
you remember?
care.
You remember? We
Yeah.
we had the right argument last week, BMG.
We did
We
because
had a
as
great
we said,
argument last week. It
yeah,
was great.
but
Fantastic.
oh, it
Everyone
was
loved
because,
it.
as we said, exclusives haven't done Xbox any good. You see, look
Have.
at the game. No, it's not because look at the Game Pass numbers. Look at the subscribers, including
million.
Gold.
34 million. That's
in-
It's
not,
a lot higher
Including-
than
Yeah.
than people
not
thought.
good at all.
But it's
not good
including
at all,
Gold.
apparently.
It's just moved in Gold. They've now Game Pass. So yeah, of course, Game Pass numbers have gone up. But from when they last announced numbers to now, it's not a big boost, especially with Activision Blizzard and all that. But as I've said,
From 20 million to 34 millions, and Activision Blizzard games are still not
Yeah,
there. Like, is that
but-
not good?
yeah, but
Or at least
majority
that's
was still
okay.
no. Majority was still on Xbox Live Gold. They were not on Game Pass. They've been forced
Right,
to go
it
to
should
Game
be.
Pass. Forced
Imagine-
into Game Pass.
Imagine PlayStation did the same and then the numbers dropped the next month.
That would never happen. Like,
Never
PlayStation,
happen.
PlayStation are to whatever PlayStation says is just
Hey,
it's like
I've
a
converted.
Bible, isn't it?
Let's
You have
just
it,
remember,
you have
right?
it.
Let's just remember, right? The PS5 is in the latest stages of its life.
Yeah,
So
we're
life
getting PS6
support.
soon.
In fucking 3 years.
Well, they said latter half,
Mm.
was a late
That's
stage.
half life.
That's another
which
3
technically
years.
is correct.
You tell him, Luke. Don't take it. Don't
Well,
let him.
I mean,
I was, look, I
bullshit.
came on here to defend Jim, right?
Yes.
So all I
yes.
all
I
I
mean-
care about is Jim.
I mean, Earth.
Jim
the
gave
Earth
me this. May
trembles
he
when-
enjoy
It
his
is.
retirement. What a
I mean,
beautiful
like,
man.
the Earth trembles when Luca and his amazing mic speaks. Like, it's just
Exactly. So
it's
just shut
so
up and listen, and I'll take this over. And you can I'll just do ASMR for the rest of this. We don't need to talk about the Xbox.
Okay,
stuff.
can we go away then? Can we go away? Is that it? Just leave Luca
Just mute
there
yourself, and I'll just talk about it, and then you can go. There you see, Reddit is enjoying it.
I love it.
Yeah. It's such
Why is
Oh,
what? What? I'm so worried what you're doing
Hey,
there
look,
with your camera
I've tagged
turned
Matt
on.
Booty into this on Twitter. At least
really-
behave slightly.
He might show up.
He might do. Hashtag Booty Bulge. If he doesn't show up for his own hashtag, then fuck him. No offense.
He-
No,
He's that
fucking
worked up. He
no
might just make an appearance.
Yeah, he's like he watched that live and he's like erected himself again. Basically, he's so enjoying it.
Yeah, you've got Phil sat there, looked uncomfortable, unhappy, fiddling with his hands. Sarah's just sat there thinking, I don't give a shit. I'm getting paid shitloads of money to sit here. And then you've got Matt Booty there's like,
Sarah was sat. I was like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" Like,
No,
okay,
she
fair
was
enough.
she was sat there thinking, I'm the new head of Game Pass, and I get to announce Activision games are coming soon. So I get to give the good news. These two guys.
Yeah, but
gotta
she
try to
didn't.
stop
She
the
just
rest
said
she gave
of it.
one game.
She said,
Yeah.
right, we know you want it. We know. She cock teased us, and then she went, Activision games are coming. Fucking end of March with fucking one game. Fucking, where's Tony Hawk's fucking 127,925? Where's
I mean,
Guitar Hero? Where's Spyro? Where's
I
Crack?
mean-
They're already fucking out. I don't give a fuck about Diablo. Give us
The
all the backwards
most
compat. And then Phil
The
went
most important
"Ooh,
would be Call of
backwards
Duty.
compat and didn't give us out either. Literally, Phil mentioned and talked about
Some
how
people
great
are never happy.
backwards
are they?
compat announcement was, and then didn't announce
it's
any
on the blue
backwards
side.
compat.
Yeah. But we've got 4 games, so we know 4 games are coming very soon.
Which
Two smaller
according
ones
to
do
Tom
live
Warren,
service.
so according to Tom Warren, these 4 games would be Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment.
Basically, all the games that did shit. on
Obsidian
Xbox
games,
Game
no,
Pass.
basically. Then
Yeah,
kind of-
2
Yeah,
Obsidian
Sony,
games,
how
1
about
Rare
40
and 1
seconds? We
Bethesda.
don't want it anymore. It's fine.
Yeah. But
Do you know what?
they
I
didn't
kind of
also-
hope. I hope
Go on,
it's
Jenna.
not Grounded, and I hope it's just Halo
Halo.
Infinite multiplayer without the campaign. I got a whole
like
shelf
an
dedicated to Halo. I love Halo, but it would be fantastic.
Isn't it
Watch
grounded?
people
and
break.
Taste.
Thieves
Give it a
No,
taste.
I think that would be like, I think that will kind of break the community in
Yeah.
such a way, because
I
like
think they should give
Halo-
the
Halo
NCC collection, but
wins-
just Halo 2, because that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
worst one.
no, but like
Halo,
every
the floppy
any
seconds.
Halo games, if they go to PlayStation, any Halo, Gears, or Forza games, if they go to PlayStation, that will break the community, because they are so attached to the brand, so attached to Xbox in general, so attached to the console in general, that
It's just what
babies,
Japanese
like,
people playing Halo.
That's it. Fabio,
no,
don't go down
no.
that racist rant again.
Oh
Hey,
my
I tell you what,
fucking Lord.
though, let's just say Halo Season 2, the first 2 episodes are actually decent. Like,
I watched
I'm
number
just-
3
I'm
earlier.
just
That's a
saying
lie.
I
I
haven't
haven't
watched
watched
number
it, but
3.
it's a lie.
It's
No,
not,
it's
do you know
all
what?
right.
I can't
Quan,
believe it.
Quan's
I
back and
hated
isn't
it.
insufferable.
She's grown
If
hair.
Quan's back, that's an oxymoron. How can the first 2 episodes be good if Quan is back?
Exactly.
She barely speaks, and she alludes to the primordial being alive and still in the universe.
Do you know what?
How
I'm
is
all
it?
for
How
it.
is it? Wait. How is it? Like, what's your KD ratio? Is that what they asked?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
Oh
the only
my!
thing that was wrong with that was he didn't mention a game first. Like, he had no context. He just looked at him and went, "What's your KD ratio?" Like, there's only one
Yeah, I
shooter. There's only one
Weird.
first-person shooter game in the Halo universe. No others exist.
Yeah, it's
If you-
Spartan
if you ain't
Warriors or
running
whatever it is.
around, yeah.
It's an actual Spartan game. They mention it in one of the
Spartan
episodes.
Assault.
No.
Yeah, but
If
he
he's not-
says the KD and then says, he looks at him, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, in Spartan Assault." Like, you say, "Oh, do you play Spartan Assault? What's your KD?" Much more natural, as opposed to, "What's your KD?" In Spartan
it's not-
It's
Assault.
if
supposed
you-
to be a funny joke there, though, and you've
No,
ruined
if
it.
he's not running round with just his helmet on and nothing else, I'm not interested.
He doesn't
No,
have his
there's
helmet
no-
out yet this series, so one plus
Massive
over last.
There's not as much helmet off so far. There's no bare butt cheeks, and there's not. There's
haven't-
not.
Does he get
It's
his
not that
small
good.
helmet out? Now? That's what I want to know.
Not yet. He hasn't.
Get his mini helmet out. That's
Ash,
what
you
I
haven't
wanna
seen
see.
episode 3 yet, have you?
No. Does he get his small?
No, it's a good episode because it builds up a bit of story, and then there's something happens right at the end, which means he's going to kick off next episode. But in terms of him walking around with his helmet off, it's quite a bit of that. in
I
this
don't care. I
episode,
don't care.
to be fair.
You let Pornstash take his helmet off and walk around with his arse
He's a
cheeks
good
out if
looking
he
guy.
wants to. Like,
Good looking
fair
ginger
play
fella,
to
back
him.
him.
I mean, he got that blonde chick, so he's fine. He's happy. Like, what I don't get though, like, why is Cortana look different? That's
Yeah.
weird. Like, they just
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
changed the whole look of her. And I'm
Apparently,
like,
everyone kicked off, didn't they? And then they fucking changed the Cortana. So
I know, but now we're all watching it going like, who the fuck's that? That's
she
the
doesn't look-
weirdest thing.
She doesn't look like either one. She doesn't look like the actress that she's meant to be cloned from, and she doesn't look like Cortana from the game. She now sits. She looks closer to the weapon from Halo Infinite than she does the other ones.
I do
She's like,
like
"Oh!"
though that they basically also confirm that there are like sex spoofs in the Halo universe. That's Spartans
Yeah.
do, which is
I
great.
just
'cause,
love
like,
the fact
you can't have naked butts, but you can have sex spoofs. So
I
it's like,
just
what
love
do you
the
want,
fact
guys?
that we were supposed to be talking about the fucking podcast that we just
right.
saw, and we were
I'm
talking
not
about
here
the
long.
Halo
I'm just here to
series.
derail you and then
and-
disappear.
It's because the Halo series is that good that we've already forgotten what we just saw. That's why. The
Yeah,
first series was dreadful. I'm with Luke. Like, the first series was so bad. As
first
a Halo
series
fan, it
or
was
the
You know what? I
heartbreaking.
actually,
First
I enjoyed
series,
the
was
first
there a
series.
first series before this one?
I thought
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
series
I
was
pretend it
great
doesn't exist.
until
I
there
like the
was,
first
so
series,
much
apart from the
like,
Quan
emphasis
episodes.
on. Yeah.
That's half
I
the
give a fuck
series.
about Quan.
That's half the series, boys.
You know
Come
what?
on.
I would take more Master Chief with his helmet off and have his sex scenes in fucking Quan episodes. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
you give us more
oh,
Master Chief and that what's the face woman any day of the week over Quan episodes. I said Quan there, like
Quan,
she's
yeah,
like
yeah.
big meat.
Yeah.
Quan.
I'd rather watch a bag of Quan. I'm not gonna lie.
Very substitute.
Spoilers: Master Chief is now vegan. For those who
Yeah.
don't know. Okay?
Oh. What else we get? So we got the 4 games with possibly more
That's
like
about it, really,
hinting.
isn't it?
There's more coming in the future, isn't there?
Like,
There's more
yeah,
games
definitely is.
going to come in. Yeah, they've not said 4 games and that's it.
Yeah.
There's gonna
Oh
be
my
more.
god! It feels like such an anticlimax because like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Xbox is doing third party." It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they kind-
One of the things that I find it interesting is the fact that, like Phil Spencer, he said that yes, it is going to be 4 games. For some reason, that he doesn't mention the 4
But it-
games. Like, just say it and
I thought it was
end the
grounded
fucking rumors
sentiment.
because anyone is going to say
PSP.
anything now.
Are they not
Uh,
guaranteed though? I thought it was like the 4 guaranteed games.
No,
Like,
But I-
it,
but I
it, it is those, but he just
But-
hasn't said.
oh, okay.
He said
Fair
there was a
enough.
reason why they had to do 4, which
Oh,
like the only
okay.
thing I could think of was the whole getting agreements with Sony, Nintendo, and the CMA
mm,
for the Activision deal. But
like,
he also said in 10 years, exclusives pretty much won't be a thing. So he's
Yeah.
basically said
But
in the
for
next
now,
few years, we're slowly
our
going to see
sloppy
him disappear.
seconds.
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, but
Basically.
like I think the interesting part of that is even though they are going to be doing this with these 4 games, that he said our exclusivity method, our exclusivity business is not going to change because of that. But later in the podcast, he says that he sees that like in 5 or 10 years, exclusivity is not going to be a thing. And considering the way we've been seeing Sony recently saying that they might be considering to put their games day and dates on PC, that might, and as well as to say multiple times that putting $200 million in a single player title, cinematic single player title, for just 50 million people to play in a basis of, let's consider like the PS4 basis, which is like more than 100 consoles, is not worth it. So like
it's
they
definitely more than
might
100
in the future.
consoles.
Yeah.
So they might, so like they might in the future expand in this 5 or 10 years the same way as Xbox spend more and more and more to share to other platforms.
It'd be interesting to know once you've built a game, their £200 million game, how much extra it actually costs to make it work on PC and on Xbox. It's not going to be 200 million. It's going to be a £600 million game. All
I
of a
think-
sudden,
It's just
gonna
a
be
ports
little bit
transfer,
more.
right?
You
I
get
think-
more return off the back of it.
It's just a ports transfer. Let's just say like that. Just
It
adapt the
does.
console you
It
are
does
working
cost. It does cost quite more than I think
no.
people expect, because they said. I think in the Insomniac leaks, it was leaked that I think the PC port of Spider-Man was $50 million, for example. So it's not like a cheap thing. But if you port that to PC and they sell like 2 million copies, even if it's just 2
Smashed
million,
it.
it's hardly profitable.
But like, look, I'm curious. Like, would it be that expensive considering that Sony owns a studio that is focused on
well, it is
porting
that
games
expensive.
to-
That's how much it costs.
Yeah, like I am.
But
Yeah, but like I am curious about how much it would cost if they are like, we don't own a PC port studio and we are just going to hire a third party company to do that for us. That would be way higher then.
oh, do you mean it would be
Well,
higher than 50 million?
Yeah, exactly. Because 50
Yeah,
million is
yeah,
considering that
possibly,
they
yeah.
have a studio, a first party studio
Yeah,
that
yeah,
does
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
here's the
very
thing,
possibly.
right? If like, why the fuck did they not come out like a week ago and say, by the way, guys, this is what we're doing? Boosh. All the unrest has like settled, and now it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, fair enough.
I think it's
What?
probably mixed
What is-
reasons. I think
They
it's
had
mixed
this-
reasons. No, go
Go
ahead.
on, look. Go
No,
on.
no, no,
So
no,
they
go
had
for it.
from what they said is they had this planned for March, and they were going to come out and do this anyway. But you know, like Microsoft's quite a big organization, they move quite slowly. So as soon as it started to leak, they kind of, well, we need to get out there and do something. But they just don't want to tweet. They like to film a
Mm.
whole episode and a big production value, and they got to make sure the
It's
booty
fucking
is
stupid.
rock
Look at
solid
the
and ready to
unrest
go.
they caused.
And then, they put it all together. What I
Like
love
it-
is they sit there and they've obviously rehearsed this about 9, 10 times, and you can hear them giggling when they're answering the questions. And they go, "Oh, that's a great question, actually."
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a great question. You wrote it down for her to ask you, Phil. You're not
But, like,
thinking
I-
anybody.
Thank
but, like,
you for
I
the
thi-
super like. I appreciate
one
it.
one of the things that I really liked is that it wasn't just like BMG said before on last week's podcast that it will probably be Satya Nadella to announce anything. It was Phil
Yeah.
Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty. Like, I think
I just,
that's that was really important to like make the community have more trust in what they are going to
Yeah.
be saying.
thing is,
But
I have less trust in them now though, because they could have come out last week and said, "By the way, guys, this is what's happening." Done. And now instead, it's like a whole week of, and it's like, "Oh, fair enough."
no,
Yeah.
but
But
like
the name's
but
been in
here's-
the feeds.
no, but here's the thing:
Obviously.
there's no way we can know if that was exactly the original plan. If they were thinking of putting everything exclusive, like they might with this week that passed adapted somehow the plan. I'm not saying that they did. There's no confirmation about
Honestly,
that.
I
But
it's
there
not-
is a chance that like okay, this is our original plan. A lot of the original plan got leaked. Some got exaggerated about the rumors, but a lot got leaked about it. And yeah, we need to adapt. So give us 1 week. We are going to discuss this, and we are going to send a brand new strategy. Like
Yeah.
that might be something, but yeah, if nothing changes, yeah, they could have just sent a tweet.
Yeah, I don't think their strategy's changed because I think if you the Phil interview with The Verge is probably more illuminating than the podcast is, which is that
Yeah.
he basically says, "Look, all we've got planned at the minute, I mean, outwardly facing, are these 4 games, but we'll see how they do, and then depending on how they do, there may be other games." I mean, The Verge directly asked him, surely you'll do more games in the future, and he's like, "Yeah, let's see." So
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of these rumors in the past few weeks were always very much couched in, well, they're considering putting this game on X, or they're considering. I don't think that's changed. I think that same principle applies. They are considering it, but I think they'll see how these games go, and if they
Of
are
course,
even
yeah.
moderately successful, there's going to be more. There will be more, and they will be more prepared to take perhaps bigger risks with the type of games they're putting on. I said before, I said somewhere else, I think the way that they're doing it now is very much how Sony were treating PC early doors, which was, let's just kind of ease our way into it. Let's see what the reaction is. Let's see what the sales are like for these games. And then you've seen Sony slowly go, okay, well, service games, they're day one now on PC. That's really good for us.
Helldivers 2.
Like to the,
Helldivers
like, yeah,
2.
and to the point of Helldivers 2 to be so successful on PC, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that only emboldens their service game choice more, because everything. I mean, Concord, they already pre-announced that that's coming day one, PlayStation 5, PC.
Marathon
And then-
probably.
And
Yeah,
Xbox
I mean,
as well.
Marathon will come across
Everything.
It
Yeah,
shows
Xbox
you
as
though,
well.
like how
Um,
big a difference, like same time marketing is for these like multiple like release games. So like, yeah, God of War may come out like even if it were 3 months later on PC, but they don't announce it. They just sort of go, "Oh, it's here! Look, poof! It pops out of the ground
yeah,
like a
do it with
daisy."
Horizon
And,
Forbidden West as
So,
well.
and then they
yeah.
go, it's like the it's like the Square Enix marketing degree they've went for a summit, and they just go, "That didn't sell very well." Like, no shit, no one knew it were fucking coming. Whereas Helldivers, they've
Fuck
announced it at the same time. They've pushed both PlayStation 5 and stuff and PC. So all the PC guys are getting hyped up and like, yeah, I want to play it. Spend the money. If you hype people up, it's like some of the Square Enix, like Final Fantasy. If that had come out straight away on Xbox, I'd have probably bought it. But now it's like, oh, I have to wait. And then you slowly lose a bit of interest, and some people will not be that bothered. And then they're like, well, I've waited this long, I'm not that bothered. I'll get it in a sale. So
Yeah.
day one, yeah, it may slightly negate your console sales, but it clearly gives you a much bigger return elsewhere as well.
But
Yeah.
one thing that was quite interesting from Phil Spencer is the idea that by putting some of these games, depending on how well they are going to be performing, like the objective is to make more players from other platforms to be more interesting on Xbox in general. but I think they need to be very careful with what games they are going to be sharing, what games they are going to be putting out there, because like you because if you are going to make them be interested in Xbox, you need to not just put some games there, but you need to make people that might join Xbox either on PC, through cloud, or console. Like you need to make these people have some sort of incentive to be there and be more excited to continue to be there and invest on the platform. And I don't think it's just Game Pass what's going to be doing that. Like I think that like we got Indiana Jones, we got Starfield. This might, I'm not saying anything like it, this Activision Blizzard game here is exclusive as well or something like that. Like I think, and we got our own franchises like Halo, Gears, and Forza. So I think that they need to be very careful with what they are going to be putting there. And I think that they are still going to be getting a lot of money yet from if they were just going to be saying that all Activision Blizzard and Bethesda games are going to be multi-platform, because they said we are the biggest, probably the biggest publisher on PlayStation there, because we got Bethesda and Activision.
I think one of the things that we're seeing a lot from like talk from Phil and Satya especially is that the console market isn't growing, it's declining.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen PlayStation have announced they've missed their projections. They're probably not going to sell as much as the PS4 did. The Xbox is as bad as it's selling against the PS5, it's still outselling the Xbox One and is having its best generation it's had compared to 360 and that, but that's at the expense of maybe a tiny bit of PlayStation's market share. There's not like they're bringing in new players from outside the console space. It's the same people just deciding to go here or there. There's younger people maybe entering the console space, but then from what experience from people I know, the older ones are then progressing onto PC, like Luke. And you know, but that's kind of the way it is. Like people move out, people get into consoles, eventually they move out to PC, and then you get some new people coming into the console space. It's not a growing platform like mobiles and web browsers and things that are becoming more accessible.
Yeah, but it is just like Phil Spencer said before during that Redfall fiasco that we had during that podcast that he was part of, which was people are not going to give up their digital libraries on PlayStation to join Xbox.
Yeah.
The same way as like Xbox players are not going to give up their libraries on Xbox to go to PlayStation. Like in fact, what would the most common thing is people have both consoles and they play on them frequently, just like BMG is one of those cases. It's not everyone, of course, it's not everyone, but like this is one of the few cases that they are just expanding to play on both platforms and not just stay on one and go to the next iteration of it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've obviously now got one of these up here, as you can see, the bit
What's
of
that?
PS5
Nice.
sticking out. But I'm quite lucky that I skipped the PS4 generation because I didn't get on with the PS3. Because if I didn't, I'd have nothing to play till April 2025. Because only joking, BMG, I couldn't help myself. But
It's
no,
just
I'm
asking.
Remember,
Just
catching
ask
up.
the BMG. Just
But
ask him.
genuinely,
Yours blue blood now. Remember that.
But I'm just honestly, I'm just catching up on all the PS4 games I missed and everything. And there were some great games. I skipped an entire generation because the PS3 I didn't get on with it. And you know, I'm gonna get Helldivers on the weekend. Whoop, whoop. But
Good lad.
I think that's another situation we're in. Is like if you pin yourself to one console, you're missing out on a lot. And I think Xbox is being quite clever, especially when PlayStation announced they haven't got much coming up. If they start putting Xbox games there and they resonate with people, maybe people will pick up a little Series S or they'll subscribe to Game Pass on their PC or something. And that's a way they could try to get more people in. Because at the moment, nothing is bringing more people into console space.
That's why I think go on, baby Joe. No worries.
Wasn't it Sarah Bond? I might have missed it because I was my son was nattering in my ear at the time. But didn't Sarah Bond say obviously we're taking a huge leap in the technology for the next hardware? Did they mention fall? We're going to hear about it in fall.
Yes.
I thought they said they were going to announce something in fall, not next gen. That's what it sounded like to me. They're going to announce something this year, and then the next gen will be coming later.
Mhm.
I thought they were
That's what I understood
announcing.
as well.
Yeah, I thought it was on about whatever they're building or project, whatever. Obviously, we're not going to see that. I don't think we're going to see the
It can't be.
console
They're
or
not. They
anything.
can't announce the next gen Xbox this Christmas when it's like halfway through the gen, because no one will.
It could be the
That'll
handheld.
definitely kill off.
It
If
could
it's
be
a
the
handheld, that's fine. But like, no one's going to buy an Xbox console, especially if you announce there's a better one coming. Like, everyone will just wait. Like,
Well,
That's,
you
but
don't
by saying
announce
that now,
next
though,
gen.
they're going to, aren't they? By
No,
what she said,
I think we're going to
people are
get
going to
that.
hold off to see.
You're going to get that nice cylindrical Xbox hi-fi.
Adorably all digital.
Yeah,
Based on
That's
Matt Booty's bulge.
yeah, that's it. Based on the booty bulge.
So this was the one thing I messaged you guys after the show that I'm doubting, because they said
Wow,
this is
did you
going
see
to
the
be
size of his bollocks?
yeah. And after that, I said this is going to be the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, making it seem like it's going to jump you've never seen. The 360 had 12 times the graphical and processing power of the OG Xbox. They're not going to be able to do that in 2 years' time for £400 to £500, more than 12 times what a Series X is putting out.
It was
20K.
They're being very loose with the term, very loose with what they mean by the biggest leap. It has
probably the worst
9
statement they
controllers
put
instead
out.
of 8. Like, yeah,
Probably the worst statement they put out, because it's just nonsense. It's just not
there's
possible.
no way.
Yeah, you'll
Not
have an
anymore.
8K machine with 20K on the front of the box. That's what it'll be.
25K.
The very last year of its life cycle, YouTube will enable 25K videos.
I'm sure it'll be a big leap if they're going for like a traditional box. And they've always been committed to big big hardware leaps from gen to gen, and Xbox has, had a focus on the power narrative for a while, haven't they? But yeah, biggest leap. That's bollocks.
No,
That's
it
just
is.
total bollocks.
Unless they announce something that's going to blow our mind.
Well, it's putting that bar up here, and anything that is
Yeah,
out
it's gonna
of- everyone's
underdeliver.
gonna be speculating. Yeah, it's just not going to hit.
Even
it's not
even
gonna
if it
hit.
is a massive
Yeah,
leap, even if you go it's a big leap, which it should be. Maybe it's like 4 or 5 times as powerful as the Series X. That's a great leap. That's awesome. But that's not,
It's not the biggest leap ever.
it's not the biggest leap ever.
Yeah, that might be the leap that is going to happen with every platform on the next generation as well. Like,
It probably will. I mean, we're just at that point. Unless you start making consoles bigger, or you go to Nvidia, you're not going to get the same kind of leap. I mean, most people went to Nvidia. Okay, but
the leap is going to be from the Series X. We are going to give you just a PC.
oh, that's it. Maybe
That's it.
maybe actually they're saying that because they're going to compare it to the Series S. They're going to be like, look at the size of that leap. Look at that, and then an asterisk at the end compared to the Series S.
One thing Muppet said is, didn't the Surface team take over from Jason Ronald? Apparently, the Surface team were already involved and helped design the Series S. So Jason Ronald is still in the same role and doing his same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Surface team were already helping when they did the Series S and stuff. But it's just another one of those rumors that come out this week that didn't quite turn out to be true. Imagine it is they're comparing it to the Series S, and you got me thinking of those cheeky bastards,
15 times the power of the previous generation base model.
it's a Series X and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like they'll talk about the handheld this year, not the actual what the next generation console is going to be. Maybe the handheld coming out spring, summertime. The following year, because I don't think they'll make us wait a year for a handheld. I don't think they'll make us wait a year. And then, like I say, just maybe also releasing a few weeks after they announce it in fall, we'll get this Matt Booty's bulge.
The booty bulge.
The handheld market is really taking off, though, isn't it? With like the Steam Deck, and then you have the ROG Ally, and you have what's the Lenovo one? There's quite a few of them, isn't it?
Legion Go, is it?
Yeah. There's quite a few different ones competing with each other now in terms of handheld devices. if they released one that had Game Pass, the Xbox OS and Steam Deck on there, I mean, that's that'd be a winner, wouldn't it?
I mean,
That's all you need.
I mean, I'm curious. I think the handheld would be quite interesting, but I'm curious. Then what would be the point of anyone to just get those peripherals to put on your cell phone and enjoy cloud? Like
Because they're
maybe
really
was
expensive handhelds.
yeah, they are. They are. But
Yeah.
would you guys say that a handheld would come and just kill off the idea of playing on the cloud with your cell phone using those peripherals?
Well, you're going to still use cloud, aren't you? Cloud's
Yeah,
still
we
going to have
can.
to play a
Yeah,
big
we
part
can
of it.
use cloud on PC. We can use cloud on our consoles. No worries at all. But I'm talking about all of those peripherals and that thought of imagine playing your games on a cell phone.
Yeah, but that will still exist because, as Jenna said,
Yeah.
people can't afford, an ultra powerful $400 handheld,
Yeah.
but they can afford a backbone or whatever,
Well,
so they can do it. But
It
Fair
must
enough.
cost them a fair bit to get xCloud Game Pass and that on, like the Steam Deck and mobile as well and stuff like that. So there's probably quite a big cost there. If they've got their own dedicated handheld they bring out, then surely they'll be saving some. Obviously, I have no idea how much, but maybe saving so much money by just having their own
Licensing.
machine. Yeah, because then they're not having to go like Apple. You can do when you do it on the app stores or Android or Steam Deck or whatever. There must be a lot of costs there to
But
have that running.
they'll still do that though.
Do you
No, they'll
think-
still do it, but if you can get 100% from that on your own dedicated
Yeah.
handheld instead of, that's trying to
Yeah.
push people to that side instead of doing it on that way. Yeah, you can still do it. The option is going to be still there. But even if you get a fraction of the people getting the dedicated handheld and doing it on there, then you're going to sort of make more money down the line, aren't
Depends
you,
on
I
how many
suppose?
they sell, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one thing to say that the Switch is very successful and the Steam Deck's very successful, but another entrant to the market, they don't sell a lot of hardware as it is, so it would need to be a very good proposition for people to be even interested. I'd be interested. I'd be really interested. But
What if
Yeah,
it
but
came in close
I
to
will
the PlayStation Portable price?
One thing I do wonder, actually, when you touched on MBMG, is the whole, like the ROG Ally, for example, and those things where they heavily advertise that it has Game Pass on there, and you get Game Pass for a month, and the box is all Game Pass can play on this, and Game Pass. It's kind of like advertised as a Game Pass machine. Do you think that's Xbox paying them to put it, like, advertise it and have it up and running, or do you think, ROG are kind of going to Xbox and going, can we advertise that it'll run Game Pass and everything? It brings more customers to you, and it brings more awareness to us.
I would say it's more Xbox going to them because they want to get on every screen. As they said, they want to be on every screen possible. And
Yeah.
would they want Game Pass on PlayStation? Of course they would, but we know that's not going to happen. They've said that's not going to happen. To get play, you want Game Pass PC or your Xbox console, or TVs now because it's rolling out into more TVs this year.
Cloud.
I think. Yeah,
Cloud
I think
in
Sky.
general.
I've got here because we've got in the UK, we've got Sky. I've got Sky Glass, and I believe back end of this year, once the exclusivity with Samsung's run out, that it's meant to roll out to them because they've already brought the Kinect, which is absolutely ridiculous. If I pay £6 a month, I get a Kinect camera sent to my house that I can put on top of my TV and do workouts and stuff like that. So I think Game Pass is meant to be rolling out as an app on then at the end of this year.
I have Sky Glass as well, so if it does, that's great for my house because at the moment I got my Series X connected there, and I got the Series S out here for when I'm working hard and my Xbox isn't turned on, obviously. Working hard.
But no, I would say it's more Xbox would be like for Steam and the ROG Ally and stuff, and other ones that are coming out, chasing them, coming up with a deal where they both benefit, and get Xbox out to more platforms, more screens, more people using it that don't have a console. But yeah, we'll have,
I think
it's
I think
interesting.
I think people will be there. Of course, there are some people right now that are probably saying that, oh yeah, Xbox is dead. Oh yeah, Xbox is fucked up. Oh yeah, la di da, blah blah blah. That's it and all. But like, I think that the majority of people are accepting well what this podcast brought because of the thought that they gave us, and considering what Sony announced during this week, which is like the industry is leading to that sort of path. So in some time, exclusivity is not going to be a thing at all. We were all saying before that probably just consoles will be not a thing at all, but like exclusivity might remain. So far, what we are seeing is that consoles will continue, and exclusivity will be a thing of the past someday for every platform minus Nintendo, because like I don't know which sort of black magic witchcrafts they are doing, but yeah, Nintendo has been amazing being the same way for like 40 years, and we just lost Ash. Yay.
No, he's had to go. He's had to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know. Just
One of his
Only,
kids. One of his kids took a
Raiders
dump
is
down the
dead.
toilet.
He's
Like,
helping. He's helping Redders glue his Series X back together. after
yeah,
watching that.
I mean, like Reddit is just completely dead here for some reason. He's not saying anything.
I was
Are you
about to
there,
say,
Redders?
He's just crying.
Red
with
did
joy.
the tie a bit too tight on the Spixie wank. That's his problem.
No. He's crying of relief, but like at the same time, he's crying out of desperation because holy fucking shit, I just threw my console out of the window. Jesus Christ.
No, but yeah, interesting. Very interesting
Harry's,
to see where it goes.
Hmm?
Sorry,
Harry's
go on,
got a
Jim.
good point in chat. He says like Microsoft didn't spend $70 billion on a game publisher just to throw in the towel.
Oh, they spent 70
Yes,
billion to put their
for
games
sure.
everywhere, baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They even spoke about him earlier, where they were like, "Oh, we're kind of already a multi-publisher." If you look at Activision,
Yeah.
so it made it sound like their games staying.
Yeah.
I'm all for I'm all for multi-platform.
Hmm.
I think it's the way the industry's going, and then what you have is if you want to buy a box instead of a PC, what services are they offering you that's the best to get you to buy that box over the other box? So at the moment it's Game Pass, PlayStation, you have PS Plus. If they both start competing for your money and trying to be the best they can be, you, as someone who plays games as a consumer, wins out in that. It's the people who they're like, I want Xbox to die or I want PlayStation to die and only ever be one console.
No one's ever
PlayStation
said they
already
want
talking.
PlayStation to die. No one's ever
PlayStation
said they want
already-
PlayStation to
No,
die.
like
I know
Xbox,
some
yes,
people.
but never
I know some
PlayStation.
I
people.
never saw anyone saying that the PlayStation has to die, but like
Have a look
think
at
that-
King David. Kong must die. But yeah,
But like
it's-
people are going to accept better this sort of news. Like if the industry is going to that path, like I know that you don't enter a market to do the same thing the market is doing. You enter to disrupt it. I understand that sort of thing. That was the thing that made the OG Xbox work. That was the thing that made the OG Xbox be built from Microsoft, because before they were not going to be doing that at all, and then they got convinced by doing that. But like if the industry is going forth with this, and we start seeing that PlayStation will be doing, Xbox will be doing, and any other console, Nintendo, I don't know. Nintendo is literally just. I
their
have
own thing.
no idea. They are not going to be doing anything at
No,
all.
they won't.
But
No,
like
no.
40 years of doing the same thing and that's it. But or even more. But like if we see like PlayStation and Xbox doing this, I think people will be accepting much better the concept of not having exclusives, because for now we got 4 games. They said themselves this is not going to change the way we work with exclusive games. I trust them with that, but I do understand that in the future exclusives are not going to be a thing anymore, because the market is going to be doing that sort of path. Not just like, oh, we are going to be going with that, because everyone was expecting that Xbox would go there just to say we are not going to be a third party publisher and that's it.
Yeah, but because I suppose you've got to look at it as well. You know, Phil did very briefly address the the 1900 job cut, saying, "Look, yeah, we had this difficult time. We're not the only ones that did it." He pointed out we're not the only ones that did it.
Yes, that was important.
They purposely pointed out. He says the way the industry needs to grow, it needs to be healthy, and you have to grow. We're a business, and he pointed out, made it clear, we're a business, and obviously with shareholders, everything, a business has to grow. If a business isn't going to grow, or you've hit the roof on what a game, an IP can do, the only other thing you can do is, like you said, put in loads of microtransactions to get more money out of you, or look, where else can we put the games to get new players in? Which it just makes sense. You think of it logically, it does make sense. You can't, you've got pretty much now, you've got the maximum players, the people that are going to get the Xbox console, subscribe to Game Pass, they've pretty much hit that ceiling, haven't they? That's their player base. So if you don't put your games anywhere else, everything's going to be microtransaction heavy to kind of get you to spend more money, because that's the only way they're going to make more money than the standard subscription fee and the odd game you buy, is by doing that. But if you put on other platforms, you're inviting new players, possibly new subscribers, possibly someone who buys it as a secondary console, someone who probably subscribes to Game Pass just to use on PC or handheld or the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. It's, instead of going down the route of just trying to nickel and dime you, let's try and increase new players into the ecosystem by putting them in more places. And it does make sense. And it's a business. It's a lot of people still forget that it is a business, whether it be PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, Steam, Valve, Epic Games, all of it. It's all businesses, and they just want to grow, and grow. Because if it doesn't grow, it's not making money, then it ends up getting canned, or they end up cutting budgets down because can't do it. Even PlayStation, they've come out and said it's not sustainable to keep doing what they're doing. It's no longer working because it's taking so long to release a game. As they've said, they're not going to release a major first party IP from the core studios before was it April 2025? And it's because they've taken so long to make.
Can you guys clarify this to me? Like, did they say that it was about making sequels to their already established IPs, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Horizon, The Last of Us, or were they also mentioning new IP?
No,
probably just sequels, right?
They said existing franchises. So they mean like God of War, Ragnarok, or Spider-Man 2. That's not coming before April next year.
Yeah.
But they'll have first-party games.
Yeah,
just
probably,
not like
a
big
continuation.
ones. Yeah.
Probably we are going to be seeing more and more remasters of those games as well, because
they've got one because they've got Until Dawn, right? So there's one.
Yeah, but
rebuilt, not remastered.
Because we need to remember those Insomniac leaks where they were going to be the new way they will be charging games, where we will have $50 for the first part of a game and more $50 to the second one. How was that? Actually, I don't remember.
Yeah. You're pretty much right.
It was something that was mused as an ability
as an
to try and basically sell through even more units in the end. I don't know whether I think the inspiration was probably something like Final Fantasy VII, which is effectively a big game now split up into several, 3, let's say. It'd be quite difficult to do that with something else that doesn't exist, but possible. I mean, you could do a Spider-Man 3 Part 1, Part 2, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on what they look like.
Yeah. It's all about making more, because again, PlayStation probably have it a bit worse than Xbox because they've got less live service type games. It's
they are going to be increasing more.
Yeah, I know, but that's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, and it's that
they've just had a really good one.
They have Helldivers 2.
Yeah, so
Helldivers 2 is a huge success. I don't know if anyone played the first game. First game was brilliant. This one just overshadows that completely. Yeah. It's an amazing
not all of them
game.
will be like that. I mean, not all of them.
No.
Sony have said as much. Not all of them are going to be big successes.
No. But you've got to do
You
something.
just need one or
Yeah.
two to new to catch.
Yeah, you just play the odds. That's all they're doing.
And that's it. That's an Xbox are doing the same, PlayStation are trying to do the same. It's how can we make more money because we're starting to hit a ceiling, and we need new players in. If we can't get new players in, we have to microtransaction everything heavy. Yeah, we're getting a lot of remasters from PlayStation, but again, it's that we're making that bit of money in the short term because we want to be doing something. Because I'm assuming, I don't know anything about game development or anything like that, but I'm assuming it takes a lot less time to make a remaster. Remaster a game or res graphics stuff and re-release it for full price, which people keep buying them. If people didn't buy it, they would stop doing it. Like Todd Howard with Skyrim, everyone says stop remaking Skyrim, and he says, "Well, stop buying it then."
Yeah,
He says you keep buying it.
GTA 5.
And every time we remake it, GTA
Look
5,
at
you keep buying
last
Didn't
of Us
it sell? Sorry,
Uh-huh.
it says GTA 5 sold like 5 million copies the last quarter.
Yeah.
Like, it's
But-
insane. People are
Like-
buying it. They're not going to stop printing it and releasing it. Like, if you're going to be stupid enough to buy it, they're going to keep selling it to you.
Yeah.
Part 2 remasters. Look at that. That's like top 10 on
Yeah,
most sales charts. Even though it's not a big, upgrade from the
it's
base
just
game, but-
support. It's just support, right?
Yeah, they've probably got small teams working on them. The budget's going to be a lot less, and they're making a lot of profit out of it. Yeah, Muppet says because they haven't got anything else. It's not that they haven't got anything else. They've got games in development, but again,
It takes time.
it's taking
Yeah, but like
so long.
so far, that's what they got right now.
But it's because a lot of people still play on like the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4 sort of generations where it was 2 to 3 year turnaround of a first party game. It wasn't taking long. Now it's like 5 to 6 years plus to make one of these new games.
Was it?
takes longer.
Oh yeah. There was a few just a few games that were long, like The Last of Us 2, one example, Crackdown 3, another. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I also think people do have slightly selective memory for this as well, which is that just in terms of PlayStation, they front, like if you look at the first 3 years, they front loaded a lot of releases. God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Horizon Forbidden West, GT7, like a lot, Part 1 remastered, like remake, Demon Souls, Returnal, like Ratchet and Clank, like these, like there's a lot, and now they've entered that period where they're like, actually, now we've got a big gap.
Also, most of those games you mentioned were delayed from years previous. They were meant to be launched. So if they had have launched at the time, how big would this gap be now that they're facing? I think they were quite clever.
Yeah.
That's what caught Microsoft out, was when they put Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon, Flight Sim, and there was another game all out within a few months of each other. And the next year, they're like, we need to delay some games. Ah, shit, we haven't got anything.
And we know we've got
clever
10
now and then to stagger it.
But we know we've got 10 first party games. Did he say 10, Matt Booty? Didn't he say?
Yeah,
10
we are. There are like
games
over 10 first party games. They are in development, and they might be showed during their showcase in
June.
Yeah. Okay.
June.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So we know, at least we know we've got
the Summer Game Fest.
Yeah. But we know we've got the showcase and everything coming. So this is probably going to be a good year for Xbox. We know PlayStation stuff's going to be quieter, but you can imagine they're going to be working on getting some more, these exclusivity deals to sort of fill that void, I would assume. But I'm wondering, I'm surprised when they were on about Activision Blizzard. I thought they would have actually announced that everything from Activision Blizzard King would just be third party, multi-platform across the board.
Yeah,
I know Bethesda's ifs, but maybe
there's going to be some exclusives.
No, like
I don't know. I don't think
I was actually imagining that they would change what they said before during the roundtable for Bethesda. I was imagining that they would say that, like, if they are going to adapt the play, I'm not saying that they did. I'm just speculating here. Like, if they adapted the original play, if there was some adaptation or something like that, if there was any difference from the original plan to what they announced right now, I thought they would do something like Xbox Game Studios is going to be exclusive, and Bethesda and Activision Blizzard are all going to be multi-plat moving forward. I thought that would be the case because, like, Bethesda before, even though there has a pretty close relationship with Xbox throughout its history, especially with like Morrowind, or they were first supporters of Game Pass, and the Skyrim DLCs that were released first on the 360 and then right after on the PlayStation 3. Like, I thought they would say, yeah, we are going to be putting every game from Bethesda as multi-platform to gain more money, since they are saying that we are one of the biggest PlayStation publishers on PlayStation because of Bethesda and Activision, and we are going to be bigger. I thought that was going to be the thing.
But he did say all Activision Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass.
Yes.
So that means this year's Call of
Yeah.
Duty is going to end up being in Game Pass, I can imagine, because there was rumors that they were going to hold. Obviously, you hear rumors all the time, but one of the rumors was Call of Duty would not come to Game Pass because it makes too much money outside of it. But
overall, what I really enjoyed about this podcast is like some points. First of all, Game Pass day one and dates is not going to change. That's going to continue the way it is. Second, Activision Blizzard games are going to be there as well, all as they mentioned before. Third of all, they mentioned, and I'm not going to say exactly what they said, but like they mentioned that we are moving forward with the industry to be healthier in a way that's going to help our brand, is going to help Xbox, and is going to respect the consumers that invested in our platform. And it doesn't matter if it is PC, it doesn't matter if it is console. You are going to be respected in your investments. And
Yeah.
the other thing is like we are going to be testing the waters here with these 4 games, which, yes, considering they're like Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment. Even though I would say that, yeah, why would you do that since you have cloud and PC? I do understand that, yeah, it makes sense to grow the community. They make sure that we are not going to change our model of exclusivity by doing that. So I think overall, this was what I managed to gather from positive news, and yeah, I think all we can see now is just how the future is going to go. And considering the way PlayStation has been heading, I think that industry itself is going to go to the same direction that Xbox is heading, with this idea of testing the waters and putting their exclusive games.
I think we're in a situation that the film industry is currently in, where a lot of movies are not making money anymore because budgets just got out of hand. And there's actors who are getting paid 40, 50 million just to turn up and put their face on the movie. Like, that's insane amounts of money. And I think the game industry is in the same. When you're spending 200 to 300 million on a game and it doesn't hit, it's closing studios, or it's leading to thousands of jobs lays off. And so, funny enough, just speaking of budgets and that, A Plague Tale Requiem, which is a gorgeous looking game, was a great game, reviewed well. That cost 25 million euros to make. Alan Wake 2 was 50 million euros and 70 million euros with advertising. I think what some of these bigger studios need to do is make games that are maybe that scale, where it's 10 to 15 hours to get through, and it's not everything's open world, and not everything's fetch quests, and not everything is you need hundreds of people coding all these different things. You just make a good game, and then you get all the critical reviews. Like, if they were PlayStation first parties and they put out Alan Wake 2 and Plague Tale, and that was their first party games and that was their games for the year, everyone would be raving about them. They'd be like, these are 2 of the highest rated games of the year. They're exclusive on PlayStation, and they could have put those 2 out for like $90 million. But instead, they all seem to go over the top, and everything has to be open world, or it has to be live service. It has to be the next big thing. And they spent like 300 million, and they expected so many millions of sales just to break even. I think AA is more where the industry needs to pivot. They need to start to go smaller scale. They need to step back a bit, keep that graphical fidelity if that's what you want, but just scale things back. We don't need everything to be open. Like Assassin's Creed did recently, didn't they? Was it Unity, the one that was
Mirage?
a Mirage? But that sold apparently
Mostly.
amazing. And they say
Yeah.
how big the returns were because they spent a lot less money making it because there's a lot less resources, but it sold just as well. So kind of,
And it was a good
hit us
game.
back
Yeah.
again.
Really good
Yeah.
game.
It's difficult though because like that is all true, and they should pivot to at least to some extent, you know, higher budget AA games, which, you know,
Yeah.
if you look at Sony, they did like Miles Morales, for example, which wasn't anywhere near as much in terms of cost as the first Spider-Man. And they, you know, they're doing like Helldivers, let's say, and Microsoft are doing this as well with stuff like Hi-Fi Rush. But the problem is that if you think about like Alan Wake, for example, which is like a AAA game, one of the most AAA games in terms of
I've
visual
seen it running on
fidelity.
PC. It's insane.
Yeah, it looks with path tracing stuff. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. But the reason their development costs are so low, or the predominant reason, is because they're based in Finland, so labor costs are really low. When you've got Sony who are Insomniac who are building Spider-Man 2, they're a big studio, but they're based in Burbank. Their salaries are huge, right? Because their cost of living is big. So it's not an easy thing to just go, well, just make a smaller game, because even if they make a smaller game, it's probably still going to be more expensive than Alan Wake 2, because it's just same with Asobo. They're French, right? Labor costs are much lower in France than they are in California. So it's just like there's got to be a balance of stuff to be able to make that sort of thing work.
What you're saying is we need to move the games industry to
Finland.
Finland.
Move it all to Finland.
Just emigrate them all.
/ Poland.
Yeah.
Because like Cyberpunk had a massive, like, it was huge. I mean, it shows you how expensive Cyberpunk was because it cost a fortune, but it's in Poland, which isn't, you know, it's not a super high paying country. But I mean, that's like a big AAA game as well. But I think, and look, like from the leak, like for Sony, right? They're making a Venom game, which is clearly going to be like a smaller thing that they'll hope to get loads of money out of. So I think, I think both Microsoft and Sony need to do that sort of thing where they're building smaller games to go alongside these really big budget titles as well, so they can have better successes across the board.
Yeah, I'd rather have some smaller titles than that, you know, spread out in between, than all of a sudden all these games that we all know, love and play just get microtransaction heavy, where you're pretty much near enough forced to, because it's just it's not healthy for anyone, and it end up costing a fortune in the end. But obviously, I don't know where Reddit is, so we're waiting for Reddit to come back. But what's everyone's, from the information we got from today's show, overall thoughts? Has it sort of settled some doubts? Has it raised more questions? Are you happy with the sort of explanations we've got? Ginny, you go first.
To be honest, I was expecting more. I think it's kind of the
like
opposite of what
floodgates.
I kind of selfishly, I kind of wanted it. I think that gaming should be everywhere and people should be able to enjoy it on all platforms. And then the thing that distinguishes them apart is what they're offering you for your money to bring you to their platform. Basically, I want value for money. So if their games are everywhere and they're making huge amounts of money and they're making more games and you're more chance of, it's kind of like the Dark Souls fans who don't want easy mode. They frustrate me because if they had an easy mode, more people would buy the Dark Souls games in that genre and you'd get better games in that genre with like better graphics and more of them, and just
it's worse than that.
You could not turn easy mode on and still play the same game.
It's worse than that. They don't even want a pause feature.
Yes,
like
so
they just want everything like it doesn't matter. Just you cannot pause the game at all. Like why?
Yeah, it's like being a fan of football, right? And then saying, but I only want the 10 people who originally liked football to be allowed to watch games, and then complain that it never gets the same crowd attendance, attention that American football got, because you'd only let 10 people in the crowd. Like, it's just nonsense. Just get as many people in as you can, get as much revenue as you can for the games, and just make better games. And I think where we're going in the next 10 years is PlayStation's going to go, maybe not fully multi-platform in terms of going to Xbox, but they're definitely going to go day and date in PC in the next few years. Xbox is already there. I think the future for most people is going to be just get a PC and get their launches. Whether PlayStation goes Steam or they launch PS Plus on a PC like Game Passes, or they do their own PlayStation launcher, those things are going to happen. And that's eventually where the games market will end up. It'll just be services like TV is now. It's Amazon, Netflix, Disney. It's everyone's offering streaming services and content, but they're trying to entice you in with what they can offer. But you still have some Disney programs turn up on Sky Cinema, some still turn up on Prime. My daughters watch The Fundaments, bless them, they love it. It's on Nickelodeon on Sky, it's on Netflix, and then it's also now on Paramount. And there's certain series on different ones to get you to watch them on different things. And it's just, I think that's where the market's going to go eventually. But I think what we had today was a lie about the leap in hardware we're going to get revealed this autumn. We got Phil saying his true feelings, where in the next 10 years, exclusives are pretty much not going to be a thing, because that's where it's going. They're going to start with these 4, and it's just going to ramp up. And it's not the death of Xbox. They're still going to make hardware for as long as people are buying it, and they're making money off the ecosystem, because that's what they've always been about. They've got, I get that people say, oh, if they put games everywhere, they get 30% of the sales everywhere. But at the moment, they're making 70% of every COD transaction, of every Fortnite transaction on their console, of every Roblox buck that's spent by kids. And that's huge amounts of money, because it's tied to their Xbox ecosystem. The moment they give that up, they lose that 30% of all that. The 30% of all that at the expense of chasing the 70% of their first party elsewhere. And as you've seen with Sony this year and with Xbox before, if you have a year where you don't put a game out, where's your revenue coming from if you don't have your own store where you're getting the microtransactions of everyone else, you know? So overall, I'm confused. We'll leave it with that. And
you could have just said that, but okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Next time, just say that. That would be much easier.
Go on, Fabio. What about yourself? Where are you at?
Yeah, like what I enjoyed this podcast. I understand people there are still concerned, but I think it was good. I really think it was a good messaging, even though, of course, there was a bit of PR business practices that, okay, it's just sometimes, depending on how it is not exactly what they are saying. But it is the 4 points that I mentioned that I enjoyed the most. Like Game Pass, the end date's going to continue to be there. Even though there are these 4 games that are coming to PlayStation, like their exclusivity model is not going to change. I think that is really important. They said that even though we are going to be doing that in terms of like to make the industry grow, because that's the direction we are going, but we are going to be doing in a way that is not going to hurt the brand and is not going to hurt you, the consumer, so you can be assured that you are going to be respected. I really enjoy that type of points. And yeah, all that speculation that are Activision Blizzard's games coming to Game Pass, yes, they are. So yeah, I really enjoyed this podcast, and I think that even though we still got questions of how these are going to affect, are they going to put more and more games there? Are those 4 games going to be huge successfully on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch to the point where they are going to be putting more and more? We don't know, but what we can know is that they are going to keep doing what they're doing in a way that is going to respect the brand and the consumer. And we hope they get to continue that way. So instead of just putting everything out there, just start putting, okay, get that money, make more exclusive games, put others there, but in a way that is going to make the consumers feel respected. Because if they don't have the consumers, they don't have anything for the brand.
No, that's fair enough. Luke, what about yourself? Where are you at with it all? Is it settled some concerns, or has it just raised more questions? Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have concerns as such, because I don't. I won't go into this now, but I don't like a future where we don't have exclusive games for various reasons. Not for
according
reasons,
to BMG, you are considered a racist. Then
racist.
like
yes, I'm a multi-platform racist, I guess.
That hates the jazz.
But I won't go into that. So I'm not. That's just a long.
It's much better. You
explanation.
racist. No.
Yeah, it's much better than I'm a multi-platform. I'd rather be a multi-platform racist, is what I'm saying. Even though I have all the platforms.
He's a plastic racist. He's not a
plastic
plastic
racist.
The good kind of racist.
This is going to be taken out of context.
hang on,
Like,
does that-
I'd rather be a multi-platform. Clip that.
Does that mean I'm racist against myself if I have all the platforms?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You
the
look
good
at
side,
yourself
the
in
good
the mirror and
side.
you think, I hate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a self-deprecating racist.
There
That's
you
what
go.
you are.
Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fine. So no, I think.
Multi-platform racist. There we go. Go on, look.
No, it's all right. I think, to be honest, it went how I expected it to go, which was, I think, hard confirmation of certain things and then soft confirmation. Not Matt Bowley's bulge, though.
No,
anything but
definitely
soft.
not my bullet.
Rock solid.
Rock hard. Soft confirmation of other stuff and leaving the door clearly open for the future, for a future where more and more of their games become actually multi-platform. So to what we consider traditionally to be competitor platforms. But I did think of it's quite interesting, and I think all of this is, clearly they're driving a different metric now, or they want to drive a different metric for their growth. And I think you can see that. Interestingly, it just popped up. The Verge said, in terms of their Game Pass subscribers, they announced 34 million of them. But Microsoft confirmed to The Verge that does, in fact, include the transition of Xbox Live Gold members into the core service, which actually means that it's in 2 years since they last reported, it's barely grown at all. In fact, I think that's actually decline in subscribers, in like overall subscribers. So it's clear that area is stagnating a bit for Microsoft, and they want to make money elsewhere now. So it's not surprising they're doing what they're doing. They'll do the 4 games. They'll see how they go. If they are successes, they'll bring more. I don't know what those games will be, but they'll do that really slowly, and they will take the PlayStation PC approach to that, to dip your toe in the water, and then it's a foot, and then maybe we'll go day one on another platform. But I don't know how quick we're going to get there with Microsoft or Sony, day one PC releases or whatever. But clearly, for both of these companies, the strategies that they've been employing are successful. They clearly are successful on paper. They make profit out of it, but as always, they don't make enough. It will never be enough for them, so they have to do things to alleviate that. And this is Microsoft's version of it. So I thought it's, as far as the doom and gloom stuff, I think it kind of made a lot of people look really silly, to be honest. And ultimately, even if they had come out and said that, Starfield's gone on PlayStation 5 or Indiana Jones or whatever, I don't understand why people have such a visceral emotional reaction to that stuff. I just think it's quite strange. But yeah, their messaging was pretty good today. Still, as Gina said, still a bit confusing. They're still Phil is very kind of.
They are a corp. They are always.
Yeah, he's very transient about how he responds to questions in certain circumstances.
They're
so
always going to do some PR top of the wall stuff.
Yeah,
just to
it's
not be
look,
like, oh yeah, it's this.
Yeah, exactly. It's never a firm answer, which is not just a Xbox thing, by the way.
It's
they all
everyone.
do this, but it's they want to try and calm people's fears, but also leave the door open. And I think they mostly did that, but maybe they didn't do it enough for some people.
I think Xbox has always been burned by being the first to do things and going too early. So they did it with the DRM on the Xbox One, because apparently PS4 was going to have the same thing. They went out and did their announcement. Oh, they changed that quick. Then it was the focus on TV. And now there's so many TV shows based on games, and people miss Snap. People want snapbacks. You can watch TV and game at the same time, but everyone hated it when it first came out because it was
I thought you were talking about Marvel Snap then.
No, that could die.
Not cheering.
And then I'm joking. and then games to PC, which is obviously now PlayStation's now doing, but they've done it more gradually, whereas Xbox was, from now on, day one, everything.
Yeah.
I think they are signaling that, look, exclusives are going to be a thing of the past. Maybe end of next generation, that's not a thing anymore. But they don't want to come out and just say it straight away because they just keep getting burned every time they do it. So they're finally going, we're going to slowly bring this to you, but we're letting you know that that's the way we're going. So if you ever kind of have a knee-jerk reaction, it can be, well, look at all these interviews we did in the past. We've been telling you this is coming.
And like
we've
the
gradually
timing
built up to it.
and the timing could not be better considering that Sony did that. They're also saying the
Yes.
situation with PC to make people consider maybe they are going to put their games as well on Xbox or Nintendo in a distant future.
It
So like the
sounds like
timing
that,
could
yeah.
not have been better, honestly.
And yeah, if you look at Phil, I think it was 7 years ago, just as a really to summarize that whole point of, kind of gradual, he at one point said when they were starting to bring their games to PC, or
Xbox
like
Play
the Quantum
Anywhere.
Break, like the Quantum Break ones, he was like,
Yeah.
not every Xbox game will go to PC,
Yeah.
and now it's just day
Everyone.
one. It's day it's not even questioned. Like that is what it is. So maybe let's revisit this in 7 years and see what they've done in that time and where they are, basically. So.
And I think PlayStation have done it quite well. They're now going, it looks like they're going towards day one, but they've done it gradually. A couple of years ago, PlayStation diehards were like, no, our games will never go to PC. And then it was gradually, they can go 2 years later, it's fine. And then it's like, they can go a year later.
And then
now
it's like, it doesn't matter, you can do it day one, it's fine.
And now it makes sense for Helldivers to go day one. Why wouldn't you do it? That COO's comments yesterday, I thought were actually quite scathing. The way he said the studios don't know how to kind of run themselves to turn a profit, and some of the words but their revenue went up, didn't it? They had a record quarter, but their profit keeps dropping every quarter. So it's only like 600 million or something, which is two of their big games, that they can pump out.
Some of
that's
that
every
Bungie.
Quarter. So, and you got to
Bungie, but still, they still don't make their operating profit's still not massive compared to their revenue, which is astronomically large.
And you got to think as well. The shareholders are going to take a cut of that as well. They're not just going to let you reinvest your full thing. They're going to have a cut off the top. But I think it's a whole thing across the gaming market. Was it Embracer today laid off another 8% of their staff today?
1,400?
Yeah, something like that.
And they laid off loads just before Christmas. So I think the whole industry, the whole industry is going for it, and they just need to find a way to. Maybe it is an end to the whole walled ecosystems, and it's right. Let's just put our games everywhere and get as much money as we can because they costed so much to make. To try and limit it to a small audience is kind of starting to hit the point where they can't get the return you need.
Yeah, but it makes you think if, like I say, I think would things look different if COVID hadn't happened because they invested so much in staff and studios and spun up all these new departments, and then everything went through the roof, and then it's just crashed down hard. Everyone's gone back outside to touch grass and do other things and come out of gaming or don't game as much, and it's just like if COVID didn't happen, would things have been more steady for longer? It eventually was going to end up in the same place. I don't doubt we wouldn't have ended up in the same place, but it would have been a little bit further down the line, not hit as hard as it has now. But it's across the industry.
COVID has really messed with my perception of time because I still think of this gen as quite a new generation. And then I hear we're kind of entering the latter half of it, and we're going to talk about new hardware soon. It's like this generation's barely began. We're just seeing games. The beginning of generations, games are going to run on Unreal Engine 5, and they're going to have all these new technologies, and it's going to be amazing. And those technologies are only just starting to come into games. And they're already on about, here's the next gen. We're gearing up to go again. And it's like, well, what happened? It's like none of the stuff that was promised happened this generation. It kind of got lost through COVID.
But like, BMG, what's your overall of the podcast that we just saw?
Well, it's I did think we were going to get an announcement of some sort. I didn't think we were going to get everything's going third party, and then Jim Ryan comes out doing the moonwalk on the stage.
Doing
and
helicopter
goes
dick.
out. That's it. That's it. I didn't think we were going to see anything like that. But yeah, I think obviously the hand was we were going to do a business update. It was for further down the line, but we've obviously the way social media has exploded and everyone's smashing their Xbox, selling the Xbox, seeing pictures of receipts saying, "Look, actually, I'm ready now. I've sold mine. I'm getting a PlayStation because everything's coming there." And I think they were sort of pushed to do something quicker to try and put out a few fires, calm things down. But they have prepared us for what coming in the future, which I think we all know was sort of heading in that direction anyway. If you don't look at it from a fanboy point of view, this is the industry's heading this way. We need to grow. We're not growing. We need to find new ways of growing. And the only way of doing that is getting your games in more people's hands, which is going on a rival platform. So I was happy with 4 games. I thought they were going to announce the games, which I understand why they didn't, because of partnership deals and things like that. So, and he did say they're coming very soon. So I would say in the next couple of weeks or so, we're going to know at least 2 to 3 of them games. But I think we already know what they are, which is fine.
Redfall, baby.
Redfall. Oh yeah, that's going everywhere.
Well,
60 frames now.
They're going to exclude from Xbox actually.
I
Give it
know.
to
Well,
our exclusive.
Well,
Well,
there's
it's a
adaptive
game now.
triggers.
Oh, that'll save the game. Put
That'll
haptic
save it.
feedback and adaptive triggers. That's what we need. But yeah, I'm happy with the information we got. It pretty much clears up. Look, no, Xbox isn't going anywhere. You don't need to go and sell your Xboxes. You don't need to, tug on your testicles, crying in a corner, rocking, because it's Xbox isn't going anywhere. We're confirmed Xbox isn't going anywhere. They are still investing in hardware. We're going to have this amazing new console coming better than the Series S. So it's we've got a glimpse of what the future
45
looks like.
times as powerful.
Oh
Or is
yeah.
Or as Todd Howard said, 12 times.
So, the detail. Yeah.
12 times the detail.
12
Yeah.
times the
We're building the first Ultra SSD coming to Xbox exclusive,
Yeah.
made by
They're just gonna-
Seagate.
They're just going to try and do all of Sony's early talking points, but bigger.
Oh yeah. Anything Sony's doing,
Ultra super fast SSD.
Yeah. Oh yes. It's gonna be the best thing you've ever seen. Best thing since sliced bread. But yeah, it's calmed a lot of people down. I've been having a quick look on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and some people have just kind of mellowed out a little bit all of a sudden. But yeah, overall, could we have had known the games? Would it have made much of a difference? No. We know it's 4 games. They're going to see how they go. They do well, then more games are going to come over. And if they do well, even more games are going to come over. And then we'll be at the point where, exclusives we obviously aren't help, because like I said last week, exclusives on Xbox, first party or whatever deals they've got, isn't helping them grow. They're not growing anymore on the exclusives. Look at Starfield. Yeah, PC did good numbers on PC. I'm assuming a majority played in Game Pass on Xbox, which is fine, but it didn't increase subscriber numbers, didn't get, put the levels up, didn't get higher, didn't do what they thought it was going to do. Could they see that with Indiana Jones or Call of Duty when Call of Duty actually lands and it lands in Game Pass day one? They're probably going to hold out and see, but exclusives aren't doing what they're doing for PlayStation. So we are going to be in a future where everything eventually goes everywhere, and that's fine. I'm fine with that.
And while we are saying they are not growing on PlayStation as well, they are not helping on PlayStation as well, to the point where, again, we are seeing a situation where it's not just. We need to point out that what we are considering here. I don't know about Gina because he is now a Sony fanboy now. Like we are, after all, he has this beautiful shirt. But like what we are seeing here is not a situation of Xbox is considering to do this, and this future with no exclusives is just for Xbox. It's for the entire industry. The industry is
As a
going
whole.
to that direction. So I think it's very important that we are going to be saying, we are not saying that Xbox is doomed. There's going to be a point where PlayStation is the only one with exclusives. No, the only one with exclusives is going to be Nintendo, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That's fair. No, yeah, you're right. I should have pointed that out. Yeah, it's going to happen the same eventually with PlayStation. They'll hold on to what they can for as long as they can. We'll first have the whole PC day and date thing eventually coming soon, because they've seen success with that. We Helldivers too. I know that's just one game, but we're going to start doing it with other games, see how they do, and eventually, it'll be all games day and day, and then we'll be at that point where first party games, whether it be the biggest titles or smaller titles first, and we're going to see it both ways. But yeah, Nintendo are in a whole world of their own. They don't need to do that because they're still selling Switches now, even though we know there's a Switch 2 coming soon. They're still selling Nintendo Switches like they're nothing. It's great. It's great to see for them.
Okay.
So go on, Janet.
I say that Nintendo's a weird one as well, because I wouldn't consider Xbox or PlayStation kind of direct competitors. Because if you could play Zelda and Mario Kart on my Xbox, my daughter would still want to switch to play it on the go. It's the mobility of it that they like.
Yeah.
So if anyone was going to put their games on other consoles, you'd think they would be for it, because it doesn't negate the uniqueness their console has, because they're not offering handheld versions. I could see why you wouldn't put it on PC and Steam readily available, because then people with their Steam Decks and stuff wouldn't bother buying a Switch. But yeah, it's bizarre. I wonder if that'll change gradually over time with Nintendo. They might try one or two possibly.
The motivation's different though, isn't it? Because for Sony, but to a far greater extent for Nintendo, their games do sell. They do sell a lot of units.
Yes.
So there's no the cost trade-off between then putting their games on another platform probably isn't worth it for them, because it might hinder their own sales on their own platform. For Microsoft, it's different, because the whole reason they got into Game Pass in the first place was because their first-party games weren't selling, and clearly they're not. Game Pass now isn't doing well enough, so they want to put their games elsewhere. So I think until it gets to the point for either of those two, and yeah, Nintendo are the furthest out of this one, where their games they're actually like, you know what, we're not selling enough units of this.
Yeah,
we're not going to get those games on other platforms.
Oh, they sell mad amounts. You can imagine how many they sell. You stick it on PlayStation Mario Kart and give them an exclusive Kratos character alongside it.
But this is what I mean, like
4 copies.
Mario Kart 8 sold like over 60 million units on Switch. Like 60 million units of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I bought it twice. So like, you know what I mean? Like 60, that's an insane attach rate for a game that released on the prior generation. I know on the Wii U, so no fucker bought it really, but like, it's just, I mean, their sales are just insane, which is why Nintendo aren't worried about this. And they have games on mobile and stuff, right? Like the World Tour stuff. So they're just sitting happy with that stuff.
Well, I think we will call it a night there. Yeah, so overall, Xbox ain't going anywhere. Games are slowly going to release in other consoles, but
we didn't ask Fabio what he thought about it, did we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did.
Oh, it was that memorable.
You just wasn't listening.
You just don't like me at all. Like
I was just distracted by the shoulders because of his sleeveless. You know, he's
So if anyone didn't know, Fabio was wearing a full t-shirt before the start of the show, but he was so pumped up, he ripped his sleeves off, slapped 2 cartons of milk together, poured them all over. He was so pumped for tonight. But yeah, no, we're going to call it a night there, guys. I don't know what's happened to Redders. Ash, he's just jumped back in so we can end the show because he's the only other person that can do it. So thank you, Luke, for coming on. Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Just @LukeSteele90 on Twitter, X. Bye.
That's it.
Okay.
Dinner, obviously, we don't
care. Go on.
Do you want to tell anyone where they can find you when you don't show up here once a year?
So when I'm not here on my annual visit, you can find me on Twitter at the Ginner Gaming. I think that's it. Oh, the gaming
I
is something
think
like
that's
that.
it.
You'll find it.
You have no idea.
Yeah, the Ginner Gaming, something like that. You'll find me. And yeah, I'm normally there just posting really bad takes and occasional.
It's all
Video.
PlayStation stuff. You're always posting
I know,
PlayStation.
you're always
stuff.
playing PlayStation.
Always,
now.
yeah.
Well, I've invested in it, so I've got a lot of catching up to do. I've been playing a lot of Xbox stuff as well. I just haven't finished those games yet. I'm just at the end of them, like Rollerdrome. We played Rollerdrome.
Great game.
Well, you need to quickly jump into Helldivers 2 because
Yes,
the war's now changed. We've now got to fight what is like Terminators. Oh my god! You need to get jumping. We need to work as a community to deliver a bit of democracy.
Managed democracy.
Managed democracy. That is it.
I'm about to release in a couple of weeks a terrible first ever indie game, a wave defense game, which is it's going to be dreadful, but it'll feature BMG, which means it'll be incredible at the same time.
Did you want to tell them about the game? Do you want to give any?
It's a terrible wave defense game. Pixel art, basically. Great promotion. This game people will play it on the basis that it's that bad, and that's what I'm hoping for. It's a 15-minute loop. Music is being done by Judzilla, though. So one thing that will be quality about this will be the music. He sent me the music already. It's fantastic. And then it's just pixel art. You're here. You're saving. BMG's got to save the beer from being stolen by all the people who are hoodlums. He does throw Foster cans as well. And he has people coming in waves across the screen. You've got to move between certain channels, hit them with the right attacks for different drinkers. So there's women in dresses who like red wine, and there's people, the obbos. And then, it gets harder and harder as it goes on. And every time a new character joins the team, a different element of music gets added in the background, and then the enemies attack dependent on the music. And it takes 15 minutes to complete if you do it all successfully. If you die, the game restarts. So you need a perfect 15-minute run to finish the game. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. However, it's fucking solid. I haven't completed it myself yet. So I don't know. I don't know if the victory screen or the end credits work because I haven't got there, but I'm just hoping they do. We'll find out when it comes out.
He just put up the game, thought, "Oh my god, this is really shit. I'm gonna play something else."
It is quite fun. I enjoy playing it. It's just really hard, but I wanted it to be hard. But the problem is I made it so hard that I myself can't finish the game to see if the ending works properly. So when it comes out, people can tell me if it works properly.
And you get to play me. You can play as me.
There's BMG.
There you go. There's the selling. Fabio, where can everybody find you, sir?
Well, you can find me not just here on the podcast. You can find me on Twitter as FBOMarine97, and you can find me on Xbox as BuffaloLizard8.
And in the future, PlayStation.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Are you going to buy me a PlayStation? That would be all.
If see, when I upgrade,
yes,
I held off.
Yes, that's it.
No, I held off.
This doesn't sound like no, close. BMG.
No, this was this close.
You could have just said no. You are just explaining to me why you are going to do that.
Right, but I was this close to changing my PlayStation 5 for the slimmed down version.
Oh,
this
close.
And
stupid. Yeah.
And I held off. I held off. I didn't do it, but so I've decided I'll upgrade, obviously, to the PlayStation 5 Pro when that eventually comes. But now you can't trade in your consoles with game or anything like that. So my daughter-in-law has already claimed my PlayStation 5. If she hadn't, I would give you it, Fabio.
CEX still does it, though, yeah?
I don't even know where one of them is in my town. I don't think there is one. I don't think we've got one.
I think
we've
got
got a game. No, I don't want to do that.
I'm not trying to talk a family member out of a console, but you can mail it. Luke is right.
yeah.
Postmen round here have got sticky fingers. You got no chance. No chance. But on that note, I'm BMG. I somehow ended up taking over hosting. I don't know why, but that will do it from us. Thank you for panel members for coming on. Thank you for everyone in chat. And we will hopefully catch you next week if we find Redders. Catch you all later. Ash, end the show for us.
just sent him a message. And
He's-
now, he got
Yeah.
no sound, so we need to send on the private chat here.
Yeah.
Soon
we
enough,
just-
that might happen.
I'll just sit here and
Yeah,
worship my
we'll just-
PlayStation Bible.
We'll just sit here. Ash.
Ash,
We
cut,
can't go anywhere.
cut. Ash,
Oh my god.
Jenna, get the game up. Get the game up. Just
get the game up.
wait. There you go. Just wave it.
Yeah, do like the power
Yeah.
of Jim compels you. The power of Jim compels you. Here we go.
Pick up the console quickly.
Come on, Ash. We're going full PlayStation